This bedroom was nothing to write home about. We had the space by the left where we currently have the built-in closet, and then we had this whole space to deal with. One of the things that stood out for us was the fact that the client said she wanted a very peaceful and simple bedroom. She really wanted wall molding. I always try to talk clients out of wall molding in their loft bedroom, but this particular client was very adamant, and that was one thing she really insisted, so we had to make it work. So that inspired the design you have on this wall. And you know, with a loft bedroom, when you are molding the wall, you have to work with the layout of the wall and all that. If not, it's not going to work. So we had to put the bed style into consideration. We had to put everything into consideration to make sure that there is symmetry at the end of the day. So that brought us to the design of what you see right now on the wall. Very beautiful. If you watch closely, you will notice that the two ends are very different, but we focused more on the center to make sure that we are able to build symmetry right at the center where the headboard is going to sit. Now, that also brought us to this design of headboard that you can see here. This headboard is so beautiful. You know, when something almost messed you up, but you still love it? That's my feeling towards this headboard. You guys are going to see in the behind the scene how it stressed us. This was one place I made a mistake, and I'm going to beat my chest to it. We designers, we are not perfect, right? And this was the part I missed out, because you know, when you're in a whole house renovation, you could just miss one thing and that thing can just mar the whole of the project. So I personally missed out on making sure that when making the headboard, that it will be made as a split headboard. So take note, if you're working in a loft bedroom, you have to pay attention to how you make your headboard. So that left us with a very large headboard that we had to struggle to fit into this space. But thank God for I worked with the best team. Honestly, they did everything possible to get it in, and we have it here. This would have cost us a huge loss. So we have this very beautiful headboard in linen sage green. I love how calm the color feels. It grounds the whole room against this neutral wall. The color we used on this wall is called the skimming stone. Okay, Faro and Bowl skimming stone. That's what we have. So we took it all the way to the ceiling just to give it that very clean feeling. There's just a lot of, you know, cutting when it comes to the loft room. So when I'm working in a loft room, I like to use the same paint on the ceiling. And that means if we have to keep it neutral, we have to keep it neutral. So this sage green linen headboard against the skimming stone wall is just a perfect blend of tranquility. That's what you have here. Above the headboard, you introduce this textured, abstract, large artwork. So we have two of them there. The headboard is the extra winged one. The extra wing because of how wide this wall is. I did mention at the beginning of this video that we're dealing with a very wide bedroom. So because of that, we had to go with this extra winged headboard. That's what inspired the style of the bed. And we knew we had to introduce very large artwork here with the oak frame. Very, very beautiful. Now, when you see the dressing table, you understand when we talk about how you want to feel when you walk into the first space, right? So the oak frame complements the dressing table, which you're going to see eventually. We paired the bed with this black bedside tables to add depth to the space, because I love how it blends in. And most favorite thing in this room has to be the table lamps that you can see here. When we design a space, we try to make sure that there is a balance between wood, glass, marble, metal, you know, all those natural elements. I absolutely love what it's doing in this space. It makes a huge statement. When you work with a very simple headboard, right, it's important that you pay attention to your table lamps. If not, everything is going to feel flat. So it's just adds character to both sides of the bed. There is that touch of gold as well. We have kept the touch of gold very minimal. Again, I don't believe in very, you know, gold spaces. I feel like if you blend the colors well, the texture, the patterns, that's key when it comes to designing a space. Texture, colors, patterns, we have to pay attention to all those things. So we have this very wide bedside table. I absolutely love it. And then we have the two bedside lamps in a neutral shade. On the bed, these cushions are handmade. All our cushions are handmade. This is what ties in the space. If we don't make handmade cushions for you, What do we gain? So we have these very beautiful geometric cushions on the bed, and we paired them with the black pattern cushions with this beautiful pattern throw. I just love how neutral the bed feels, but still stays rich. Neutral, but make it rich. Neutral, but do not leave it flat. Okay, I don't like a flat space. And that's what we have done. I feel like we have tied in everything perfectly well in this space. If you look at the other side of the bed side, we have added a little bit of color with that little vase. If you look at this frame, you will see that the main color on this frame is green, different shades of green. But if you look closely, you're going to see the touch of pink, which is not really significant. But then again, pop of color does not harm anybody. So that's why we have highlighted it with that vase. Now let's look at this light. We have tried to stay away from gold. In as much as we have introduced gold in subtle areas, we intentionally did not want to bring in gold light here. You're going to see the little places we introduce gold. But yeah, that's what we have here. We have this beautiful, I think it's up to 60 cm crystal chandeliers. I love clients that love chandeliers because Didi loves chandeliers. Anyway, on this side is this beautiful black patterned accent chair. The pattern on the chair was just everything we needed to tie in the space. And with a room this big, why won't we have a sitting area? When I'm designing a primary bedroom, if the client emphasizes on the need to have their own private space, definitely sitting corner is very important, because I can just picture her sitting here and she doesn't want her kids to disturb her, having her private moment, having her phone here or her drink, whatever, and watching TV. I am not a sucker for TV in the bedroom, but if our clients insist that it works for them, then we will definitely find a way to make it happen, because at the end of the day, you are the one living in the house, not Didi. I love this corner. I love that we're able to use it because it's almost like a dead end, but it's not neglected. Do you get? So that's what we have done here with this neutral cushion and the side table. This is the part where the client was very vocal about. She wanted a closet that would feel like a walk-in, because if you see the before, you would know that this was a space that was a bit confusing how to utilize it. And if we're not careful, we're going to have like a lot of wasted space. Now I'm going to show you guys what we did. This is where she's going to be hanging all her clothes. We created a jewelry space here for her. We put her jewelries, and then we have other drawers with a walnut interior. I love, 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 love walnut interior. And she specifically chose this during one of our meetings. Then we have this part where she can display her bags, perfumes, whatever, but it's literally for display. We have this other side where we have just shelves. Again, because of the bevel area, we could have also had like a hanging space, but I'll tell you why we decided not to have hanging space here. This is the part I love so much. Coming. Can you see that I can properly stand here? Now, this would have been a dead space, but we didn't want it to waste completely. So we created another hanging space here for her. That's the reason why we didn't bother with hanging there. And then we have all this space for her to, you know, display whatever she wants to display, even on top. Because there is this thing. This is what I was talking about. Like, it would have just wasted. That's why when it comes to joinery, built-ins are always the best, because now you can utilize all the spaces. And I can picture her displaying some of her shoes here, or boxes, just whatever she feels she wants to keep away from her bedroom, or she does not have to have inside her closet. She can just use the space to have all those bits. That's what you have here. And the idea is to keep it clutter-free. That's why we have these two doors to create access to that place, right? So at the end of the day, all the spaces are still in good use. So we have this little window here that sees into the estate. So we introduced like a floral sage green Roman blind, bespoke for this window. We upgraded all the switches and sockets. Now, this is something that I feel is standard if we're renovating your house. Why do we have to keep the old switches and sockets? We changed all the doors in the house. I'm sure you guys have seen some of them downstairs. Now we have this, and we painted all of them white. We also changed the carpets in all the rooms. On this side, the client wanted her own dressing corner. Of course, why not? So we have used this part of the room to create a dressing corner. And when we're making the molding for this room, this was one of the things we kept in mind, so that we use one part of the molding as a section for her dressing corner. And one of the things that made us to choose this part of the room is because of this skylight roof. You know, when you're making up, when you're dressing up, you need that natural lighting to come in, and what better position than to use this corner. We have this oak dressing table here for her. This is what I was telling you guys that inspired the frame we have above the bed. The oak framed wall art with this, okay, just blends in. I love this because it comes with so many storage. She can have all her dressing, the brushes and all that, she can have them stored away here. And then we have all this storage here. I'm sure you guys have noticed this antique mirror. I'm a sucker for having 1 or 2 pieces of antique in a space. This client has nothing against antique, at least not to my knowledge. So I just felt the need to, instead of just having a plain dressing mirror, this just adds character, adds that timelessness to the space. And that's what we have done here. I love it. I have accessorized with some jewelry marble box. To complement this dressing corner, we introduced this sage green chair, or the blend of the wood tones and the sage green with the antique. I want to hear what you guys think about this, because words cannot express how perfect it feels here. One of the things the client requested as well was to have a TV moment here. I'm so happy that she's able to get it, because with the way the room is, if we didn't make the layout work, it would be difficult to have a TV. Initially, I wanted to have like a plant, but since a TV was more of priority to them, we had to make this work. So this is like a pull out. It's a pull out such that she can sit there, pull it out, and like if she really wants to have that moment, pull it out and she's able to watch from there. That's what I was trying to explain to you guys. So guys, this is where we're going to end this primary bedroom tour. I absolutely love how it has turned out. Loft bedrooms are not my favorite bedrooms to style, but at the end of the day, it always works. Let me know what's your favorite element in this room. When I find myself in a position to style a loft bedroom, I pay attention to layouts, and layout is key for me, okay? And I love that we have been able to introduce everything the client wanted. I also forgot to mention that she wanted all their beds to be storage beds, and that's what we have done. Even without clients asking us, we always make sure that they're storage beds, because again, it's UK. You guys know how limited the spaces are in this country. So yeah, that is what we have done with this bedroom. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know which room you're going to see first, if it's the other 3 rooms, because it's a 4-bedroom house. I'd love to read from you guys and know what you really think about this bedroom. For now, hit the like button, subscribe and share to whoever needs this for inspiration. I will see you guys in my next review. Stay fabulous. Bye.